I know that we're not media outlet people or news people in any way, shape, or form. We're just fans, enthusiasts who are lucky enough to get to see movies before they come out. These are just our thoughts. Sometimes they go good, sometimes they go bad. Pet Sematary 2019.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
So we just finished an advanced screening for the new Pet Sematary, Pet Sematary 2019. Really, really wanted to like this movie. What about you?
I really wanted to like it too.
It just kind of, it did not have, all right, so I feel like I'm just going to come right out and say it. It did not have any of the soul, any of the, everything that you loved about the first movie, the original Pet Sematary.
Had some good slow build-up in the originals that were creepy as fuck.
Literally everything you loved about Pet Sematary was completely void in this movie. There was nothing. The music, the characters, when certain things happen with certain characters, like, I even took note.
Reminiscent of the first one.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, no, I mean, I didn't feel it. No. I even took note at the very end, the song famously sung by the Ramones, Pet Sematary, which was the theme song from this. It was a band called Starcrawler, and it just felt too
emo.
I don't really know. Like, you know, the Pet Sematary music video by Ramones was actually filmed in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery in Tarrytown, New York.
That's awesome.
It's an actual cemetery, Sleepy Hollow.
Gosh, where do I begin? I know where I begin.
Go ahead.
Happy birthday to me.
It's her birthday today, April 3rd.
April 3rd is my birthday.
But if you're watching this video, it's probably not the birthday.
No.
But say happy birthday to Jessica in the comments below.
We spent the morning with my family at Animal Kingdom, which was great. And we got tickets to this screening, and it's like, awesome, Pet Sematary. We just got the 30th edition, 30-year anniversary edition.
Which we watched the other day to have it fresh in our mind.
And it creeped me the fuck out.
It's terrifying, the original one. To this day, it's still terrifying.
I had to turn it off.
Like that one scene whenever Gage has the razor, the knife and cuts across Judd's ankle. Mm-hmm. Terrifies me. Like, it makes me go, ah.
This movie had a couple of good jump scares in it, but I feel they did it more with sound instead of scary scenes.
The guy behind us fell asleep. He was snoring.
Yeah, but he did it quick too, because whoever he came with had so many questions. He did not understand anything happening in the movie, which, granted, it got a little weird. He said he didn't hear the first one. He didn't watch the first one. Yeah, but he said he didn't see the first one. He saw the second one.
Which is part two, with Eddie Furlong. Edward Furlong was in part two. And guess what?
I don't remember that one.
I'm so full of crazy movie trivia. Pet Sematary 2, starring Edward Furlong. You know him from Terminator. The town that the town that Pet Sematary 2 takes place in is the same town that Alexandria from The Walking Dead took place in. Sonoya.
What is it? Not brainwashed.
Did you get it? Did you hear me?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
It's the same Walking Dead and Pet Sematary. There's a connection. Bam. It's crazy, and people know that. Ground is sour. This movie was sour.
This movie is sour.
I'm glad we didn't pay for it.
I think it's a better modern horror than some of the stuff that I've seen.
It wasn't meant to be funny, but a lot of people laughed. The theater laughed at certain scenes.
I didn't get that, though. For me, I didn't understand why they thought it was so funny. But, I mean...
It's like whenever something's so scary, or when something is trying so hard to be scary, and they take themselves seriously, but it's so serious that it's kind of comical.
I could feel that.
And we're not going to tell you certain things. I mean,
you also had so many cult favorites of the original. I guess, how do you say? You had so many people who were there who obviously loved the first film. And I felt it was those people who were kind of dissecting it and being like, at one point they kind of gave up, it felt like, and then they found a lot of things was funny maybe, but I don't know, like, where to even start with this film. I'm really open to change. I actually love spins on old classics. Sometimes they're done beautifully, but a little girl as a little living zombie, whatever, could have been done so good and could have been even creepier than the little boy toddler. So I was very open and welcoming to that. I was excited for it. And it wasn't. I think they could have done better with the makeup, because there's barely spoilers, by the way. If you guys don't want spoilers, you don't want to watch this one. They didn't really have any effects on her. Granted, they didn't on the toddler either, but I mean, fair enough.
So I think that it's okay if we talk about spoilers.
I keep saying the toddler.
To an extent.
My
because
birthday button's getting caught in my hair.
I feel like it's okay if we talk about spoilers to a certain extent, because people who are going into this movie, I'm going to say the majority of it, has heard about the big twist.
Yeah,
which,
that was all over the news,
right.
that it was going to be the girl
most of us
boy.
have seen the original movie. So there's a lot of this movie that was kept almost scene for scene. Like whenever, I can't even remember the mom's name. See,
it started out so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, so like I took note of this whenever in the first movie, in the original movie Pet Sematary, Gage dies. Sorry if you didn't know that. And mother takes Ellie to the parents' house, and she calls her husband at one point, and in the original movie she's sitting on the staircase in the original movie talking, like trying to get a hold of her husband. They did that. There are certain things that were shot for shot, which I thought was really cool. But then there was other things where they just completely changed it around, which was really surprising.
Would have been okay.
Very cool. But
I just don't think it was done well.
It wasn't.
They didn't give it enough build-up for certain scenes, and I felt like this movie was really trying to be more of a jump scare than a creeper.
Right. The truck scene where Gage dies. In this one, that whole scene, I was really, really curious as to how they were going to do it. And
it was too long.
It was too long, and
they could have cut out like a good 20 seconds, and it would have been much better.
When it happened, I didn't care.
No.
It was like I did not care at all. The only person I really cared about was John Lithgow's character, and even then I didn't care about it. I was like, man, it's John Lithgow. I love John Lithgow.
With the dad. I mean, by saying this, it wasn't that these actors did a bad job with their roles. I think they did good with their roles. I did feel that the mom was pretty forced for me. Like, her issues in the movie and her emotional instability seemed not very well played, maybe, but I mean, that's just the lines, possibly.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to like this so much because I love the first one. The first one was so good. And like I said, I was so open to there being changes because there's so many scenarios you could do with this film and make it outstanding. And I was really rooting for the little girl to be a creepy little girl too. And I didn't feel it.
No.
Just putting a knife into a young person's hand or whatever and saying, oh, well, they're back from the dead, so now they're evil or whatever, does not make them scary. Hearing a little person say, I'm going to kill you or whatever while holding a knife does not make it scary.
Some people, it makes me scary. Some people. Like, I feel like you and I, we've seen so much that, just something doesn't scare us as well as some people who, like...
I wouldn't say that, no. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, like, just those combinations of things doesn't automatically make it a creepy situation or a creepy thing.
I get you.
You have to film it right. You have to deliver it right. And this was lacking that for me. Quite a lot.
Void. I like the word void.
But at the same time, this movie was so void of certain things, but at the same time, it had too much. It was empty with too many things. Does that sound about right? Empty with too many things going on? So, like in the first one, and it's what we would call a slow creeper, where it takes its time to get into your mind. It has a couple of slow scenes, so like when the devastation really happens, it's like, ooh, that was heavy, This one was like, there was no letting stuff sink in, no build up.
Yeah, like I had that feeling too, because like I'm a big fan of horror movies from the 70s, where like an hour-long movie, the first 50 minutes is the movie, and then the last 10 minutes it's like, here's the horror.
It doesn't have to be that for me either.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I get really bored with that. So I mean,
I
you
love
gotta
really
keep my
bad
attention.
movies.
You do though. But what I mean is that in the first movie, it's not the first 50 minutes and then everything happens.
No, it happens right away.
Right. But what I mean is that it gave you time to not process, but it gave itself enough time between certain scenes that it was like, that's fucked up. Right? Or it had a very creepy...
It had body.
It had body. Yeah, it had substance to it. And I did not feel that in this one. Because it's like they're trying to explain things too quickly or shove a whole bunch of information in. Or it felt a little... I really was rooting for John Lithgow in this as well. And his character, felt more like he was just there to give some information to help you guys along with the story.
Like the liver spots were real, or is that
No,
how
it
it
was
looks
makeup.
now, or
That was
makeup?
makeup.
I mean, it was beautiful.
They do that to make some characters seem older, and it's not even supposed to be liver spots. It's just supposed to be like discoloration, but it looks like a
paintbrush.
It's how they make skin look realistic on a lot of like latex. It's like a stippling effect of supposed to be maybe liver spots. I don't know. But anyway. So they might have used some prosthetic in his face to make him appear a little older than he is, because he ages really well. But
3 things that scared you from the original.
Me?
Yeah. Do you want me to do this first? I've been thinking about this while we're watching the movie.
Go for it.
There's 3 things that terrified me about the original Pet Sematary that I was really hoping or excited to see in this, and this is what I thought of.
Go.
The first one, Gage slicing Judge Crandall's ankle with the surgical knife. Terrified the crap out of me in the original. Terrified the crap out of me in this one. It hurt just as bad in the original and the new one for me.
That was probably
I
the
cringed.
only scene in this one that I thought job well done is they knew what you were expecting from the original and they didn't give it to you, but they still gave you a good scene in the way that they executed it.
Yeah, like it was beautiful. Like trickery. They tricked me. They got me. Like that scene, I like
good.
terrified of it.
That's good.
The second one was in the original, Gage getting hit by the truck.
Very well done. Yeah.
The first one, when I first saw it, when we watched it the other night, and as soon as it happens, they show those clips of Gage as a baby. Just no words, nothing.
But also, they left stuff to your imagination as well. And then the dad's reaction.
Oh yeah,
was a big part of the emotional connection.
We love watching the special features, and they do. There's an interview with the guy who played him. I can't remember his name, and he said that scream was as real as he could make it, because he was imagining what it would be like, and.
By that time, he'd spend a lot of time with the young actor.
The little boy, yeah. This time around in this movie,
they don't give you that.
I just didn't care. It was like
they don't
give you.
I don't think they give you any emotional reaction to her death, really.
They show
like 2 tears.
Yeah, but they do show when he's laying there with his wife, I think it is. They show like a flashback of her, but it was just like,
not even really.
Okay, what you freaking do? The third one, and this really, really made me sad. Zelda,
yeah.
Zelda gave me nightmares growing up. Like, terrifying nightmares. This one, I would have preferred it if they just left Zelda out of the movie. That's me. Like, she was present, and it was kind of cool.
Yeah, her story was in it, but they were going back and forth, weird dreamscapes and hallucinations from...
It's funny you said dreamscapes.
The mom.
Nightmares and dreamscapes.
And, I mean, if they would have just done, like, a normal film sequence from, like, start to finish, you know, like in the originals, you know, without the, you know, 2-second cut, 2-second cut, 2-second cut, flash, 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 and let you see a bit more of the character like they had in the original, because I kept feeling like they were focusing too much on this one little, you know, crop of the scene, and then you didn't see it, and it's like, wait, what? That could have almost been really cool and creepy, but if you give us a little bit more in depth of that,
yeah,
you know, it's like they give it to you, and I don't know. I actually, in the first one, Zelda was not my favorite at all. I didn't really care much for the special effects that they did on Zelda in the first one.
And Zelda was a man. Just as a woman.
I could tell that. Maybe that's why. Zelda in the first one, the delivery was really cheesy for me. You know, it was like haunted house cheesy, right? You know, where they do that kind of thing. And that's what he did. And the special effects for me in the first one, the makeup was just completely blanched. You know, barely any shadowing to bring in the depths of the feature. And, you know, yeah, so she just looked like, someone in a suit without any defining features. You know, the makeup was just so monotone that it looked like a latex mask and nothing more. So for me, and Zelda in the first one was not one of my favorite things. However, I was really looking forward to what they were going to do with her in this one, because you have all this technology, all this makeup, all this skill in today's age of and prosthetics and special effects makeup, and man, we've seen some beautiful stuff. So I was really, you know, I think that's the thing I was looking forward to the most, was Zelda in this. And again, they dropped the ball, not because of the special effects. What you could see was really well done.
Yeah.
But the delivery of it was so poor and confusing.
I feel like they changed too much.
Even knowing the original film, you know the situation, you know what happens to her, you know what her condition is and all that stuff. They threw in like a whole bunch of dreamscapes where the mom is hallucinating and stuff that just did not make sense at all. And the flashing of the sister's condition instead of just letting you see her, which is a shame because there was so much special effects and makeup that they did right in this. You could tell it just from a small glimpse of it, and it's like, you should have let us just, you know, do a panning shot or something, you know, let us see a little bit more of it. But it's in the delivery, and they dropped it in the delivery, and maybe the script too.
I feel like they did change too much.
They went a little weird with this movie.
Before, a couple days ago, I told you that I read in an interview that the filmmakers decided to kill off the daughter instead of Gage.
Because
Ellie,
they didn't think they could do it.
Because they didn't feel like they could accomplish what they wanted to do with a 2-year-old as the zombie. And I was like, well, that just sounds like a cop-out to me, because in the original movie, Gage was cute and terrifying And that's what really made him terrifying, was that he was cute.
And he was a 2.5-year-old.
So I was like, well, if they could do it back then, why can't they do it now? It just felt like a cop-out to me.
Which was hilarious because they were like, we need twins, we need twins, we
Right.
need twins. And they did not have twins for the first movie. They had one toddler.
Which was at the request of the filmmaker, the director. I can't remember her name. Mary?
She wanted that boy. She wanted him as her actor,
Brilliant
and
choice.
he wanted it.
With that, I completely forgot what I was going to say.
That they said they couldn't do it with a toddler, so they went for the girl.
With that being said,
which could have worked fine.
Well, with that being said, that little girl who played in this Pet Sematary 2019, I don't know how much of the stunts she actually did and how much of it was dummies, but like watching what we just watched and knowing about that interview, I agree with them fully that they could not have a 2-year-old do that.
No, there's a lot of contact in this one with her, and then the storyline later too. Yeah. Which I guess we won't go into those spoilers. We'll at least give you something.
They changed a lot.
I'm actually, if they'd have gone with that earlier on, I'd have been all for it.
Right.
If they didn't leave it as an ending scene, I would have been so for it in the beginning. Well, not in the beginning of the film, but I mean, if they would have got to that a bit sooner, I think that could have been cool. Maybe that's because they're leaving it open for a second. But where do you go from there?
I hope they don't make a second one.
I hope they don't. But where do you go from there? I don't see an avenue where they could take it. And so, dear God, I hope they don't. But
I also feel like I wish that they would have had the Mikmaq burial ground. What they did with it was really cool looking.
It was okay.
It had so much potential. I feel like they could have taken.
Oh, because you get to see past the wood.
Yeah.
Thing.
Like there's this
that
one.
Was cool.
That
was cool.
There's this one scene where they show the staircase leading up to the Mikmaq burial ground, and as a staircase, whoopie do.
Well, because you don't get to see anything in the first.
But
one.
like I remember sitting there going, okay, they showed Lewis walking up it, took one step on the step, and then they showed him stepping off of the staircase, and the staircase in the shot is really long. And I remember sitting there going, this just feels too soundstagey to me. Where in the original movie,
it was. Yeah.
In the original movie, where they filmed it, was 20 minutes away from where Stephen King was actually living, in the actual woods.
Did you actually see? No, you don't see past the wood pile, do you?
In the first one?
Yeah.
No, but everything that was there, including like the Mikmaq burial ground,
they filmed in Maine.
They built the Mikmaq burial ground. They actually, like, people who weren't even in the scene, like the guy who played Louis Pascal, in an interview, he said, I wasn't even in the scene, but I wanted to go see it because what they did, like, they actually built this stuff. That stuff here felt like a soundstage to me.
It probably was, and this film was just one massive disappointment for me, and I kept waiting for a scene to pass because it was like, well, I don't like the delivery of this, or, I'm not feeling it, so, I know what's coming up, that should be great. And it was just like let down and let down and let down. It's like, really? That's how they went with it? Well, let's not judge. Let me get through the whole thing. And by the end of the movie, I'm just feeling really bummed out and really disappointed because this movie had so much potential.
There was at least one point where I thought, man, I wish this movie was over. I don't remember where it was, but I remember feeling... And then not too long after that, the guy was sleeping behind me. When the lights came on at the end of the night, I turned around... and was looking at the media people that were behind us.
To see their reaction.
And to see what their reaction, they all just had this look on their face like, and they were just kind of looking at each other to see if like...
Pretty much everybody that I heard talking about it afterwards was really disappointed. I didn't hear a single
somebody said there was no soul.
Thing. Yeah, a lot of people were saying there was no soul to the movie.
Which is funny because they're like... walking corpsey with no soul people. It's kind of boring. It kind of fits. Maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe they're shooting a crappy movie.
Nobody shoots a crappy movie on purpose except B-film producers.
But maybe, bear with me here. Okay? So, the first trailer comes out for Pet Sematary, and we're all like, yeah, this is awesome. And then the second trailer comes out, and people are like, well, there's a surprise. The filmmakers just told us the main twist in this movie. Maybe they knew they had a crappy movie, and that's why they were like, hey, let's throw this one at them. Right? Possibly. I'm sticking to it. They knew they had a crappy movie, so in the second trailer, a month before it came out, they were like, it's not the boy that dies, it's the little girl.
Why would you give that up anyway? Like,
right?
It could have been a good surprise, honestly. It
like,
could have been...
The way they filmed it, because in the movie, I'm sorry, spoilers, I'm going to write spoilers in the title. Gage goes running towards the street, like in the original. And Louis Creed comes running behind him. And everybody is like, no, get the baby, get the baby. He gets the baby. And then something happens. Like, if they would have just kept their mouth shut, that would have smacked everybody in the theater across the face. Like, everybody.
Even still, though, in that scene, it was too long.
Yeah.
If they would have just seen him snatched up and then seen the trailer unhinge and then see her face and then go, but instead you see this 20-second of the trailer skidding before
it was like
her.
Final Destination.
It just, man, I don't know. They really messed up on the...
I'm gonna keep going. It's going. That's how long.
That's how I feel this movie went. Is it just kept plugging along. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
so they could have hired me. I'm cheaper. Instead of showing that.
Oh Lord. See, I don't even have like the patience for this because the movie bummed me out so much. I don't even have like any funny bones right now. I'm just like over the whole thing. And that's really sad. I love horror movies so much, and man, they could have what they could have done with this film. And it did seem like they were going to. It did seem to me like they had a couple of good points. And the parts they chose to run with that could have made an impact, they did very wrong.
The theater was nice.
It was old.
It was very old, which is weird because it's like in a newish strip mall kind of place. Yeah.
Like they kept a bit of history, which was cool. You wouldn't think that from the outside of it, but closing thoughts? Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
So it's like, today was not an eventful day, but it was a nice day to get out with the family and stuff, and we're so excited because I got to see Pet Sematary on my birthday before anybody else gets to see it.
And there was a birthday scene in it.
And
stay away from the road.
And then it was just kind of like,
we need a cat named Church.
not that I felt like they ruined my birthday.
They didn't, but they did.
I need a redo. I'm doing my birthday tomorrow. This sucked.
I'm sorry.
You don't suck. I
love
like you.
I love you. I love you and you like me. Wow. It's going to be a long drive home. Do you want to ride in the roof? It's alright.
I think you guys should still go see it. Don't take our word for it, obviously.
Do the matinee.
We might have
do the matinee.
Differences of opinion, and I'm actually really interested to see what you guys think of this.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We don't get very interactive with our videos, so if you're gonna, it's not really gonna work, is it? I don't know. Watch the movie. I say go to the matinee. She says go enjoy it.
Go whenever. I mean, you know, do you do what feels best for you when you go see a movie in theater, you know, because you want it to be a good experience, whether you agree with the movie being a good movie or not, you know, have a good experience.
I'm glad we didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it again, but honestly, when it comes out on Blu-ray in a couple months or weeks, I don't know, it keeps getting smaller, I'd probably buy it just so I can watch the special features because I've become a special feature junkie.
I would probably, you know, I don't think I'm going to get any special edition of it, but like when it's been out for a minute, you know, and you end up finding it at Walmart for $10, like I'll buy it then.
This is good. This is like the Crazy Heart.
I love the poster picture.
Yeah.
The promotional footage is pretty.
I don't think they should have remade it. I think they should have just... I mean, I get it, but...
Could have done so much better.
The first one... See, to me, certain movies, classics, you can watch it and you can say, yeah, you know, they could redo this. They can make it better with the technology they have today.
I don't think they could have made it better with the technology they have today. But
you cannot touch Pet Sematary.
I was waiting to see...
There's nothing. It's just
a different take on it, you know, especially hearing what changes they had coming. I was like, well, that could be cool. It could have been a new addition to the franchise that would have been cool.
Right? Because the Mikmaq burial ground's still there.
Yeah.
Technically.
Honestly, you know, they made the
In
whole,
theory, fiction.
In the previews, the whole procession of the children in the masks about the whole Pet Cemetery. To me, that seemed way more creepier and had a lot of potential in the previews. And in the movie, it was like a blip.
It was void.
It was that one small scene you see in previews, and that was it. And they made the scene longer in the previews than it actually is in the movie, and that pissed me off.
Yeah.
That had so much potential, too. I was really looking forward to it. Those kids look creepy as hell.
Yeah. The first one's better.
Well, obviously. But, yeah, so... We're working through our emotions on this one, guys. We're disappointed. We're a little angry. I think we're all around kind of a little upset, which I don't think I've ever really gotten into this, like, you know, damn you about films. It's like, why do you have to go and touch it? It's like, if they did it, they did it. Whatever. It's like, you know, I didn't like it, and whoop-de-doo. You know, my opinion doesn't matter, but I'm kind of upset on this one because I feel so let down. And that's not me tooting, that's my feet. I'm sitting on the leather seat. And I get wiggly and I start moving around and stuff. And
wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.